is 27 News First at 6.
He says it will put unemployed Americans back to work. President Obama uses a Kentucky bridge to push for his jobs bill.
It's become a prime target for thieves, but how much is the copper in AC units actually worth? What a 27 News First investigation found out.
One person is dead after a home explodes in Stanton. 27 News First at 6 starts now.
Good evening to you, and thanks for being here with us. Smoke and flame shot high into the air. An explosion leveled a central Kentucky home, killing one person and leaving two others badly injured.
Firefighters from several counties rushed to a home on Paint Creek Road near Stanton in Powell County after the explosion this morning. The fire caused by the blast is still burning hours after the blast. Officer Don got this exclusive video from 27 Sky First. Melissa Adizade talked to neighbors who watched the horrific scene unfold. It's our top story at 6.
Scattered brick and window paints are all that is left of a house after an explosion levels it to the ground, killing one person inside.
It was a blast that could be heard from miles away.
I was in my house and I just all I heard was a boom, and I woke up and I was like, what in the world?
And a rumble that mimicked an earthquake.
We heard it was like an earthquake on my house. We were in the house and everything moved here.
Vicki Hatton lives next door. She didn't want to go on camera, but she did describe for us what she saw when she ran outside to see what caused the massive explosion.
You know, we went to see what was going on, and that's whenever we saw the house was gone and the roof was down on it.
And Hatton says she realized very quickly that she couldn't see the house because it was no longer there.
Oh, you couldn't see. You couldn't see the house. It was just mostly dust, you know, and the flames. That was it.
But she did see one thing.
The ambulance took two out.
Took two out.
That's all we saw.
Those two people were the only survivors of the blast. They were airlifted to UK Hospital with critical injuries. Another person was trapped inside and unable to get out. Those close to the family tell us it was an elderly man who lived at the home. Witnesses at the scene say the blast was caused by a propane tank.
Crews from 5 different counties were out here earlier today trying to fight the fire. They say they will be out here for a few hours to try to figure out what exactly happened. In Stanton, Melissa Adizade, WKYT 27 News First.
We will have a follow-up story tonight on News First at 11. The names of those victims have not been released so far, and authorities say they're still investigating what caused the explosion.
He called it an example of why his jobs bill should be passed in Congress. President Obama stood in front of an aging bridge linking Cincinnati and northern Kentucky today and targeted two prominent Republicans. The Brent Spence Bridge crosses between the home turfs of Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky and House Speaker John Boehner of Ohio. Our Andy Cunningham was the only Lexington reporter in Cincinnati to cover the president's visit.
With the Brent Spence Bridge as his backdrop, the president came here with a confident message. This Jobs Act bill will pass, and this bridge in particular will receive the attention it so desperately needs.
And it's in such poor condition that it's been labeled functionally obsolete.
Just 2 weeks after addressing Congress about the American Jobs Act bill that would spur new jobs and repair the nation's aging infrastructure like the Brent Spence Bridge, President Obama brought his plan to our own backyard.
There is work to be done, and there are workers ready to do it. So let's tell Congress to pass this jobs bill right away.
Calling it one of the most important interstate bridges in the country, Brent Spence, designed to carry 85,000 vehicles a day, now carries more than 160,000.
It's a little bit alarming just because the bridge is so old and outdated.
Sarah Little makes the 1-hour commute from Lexington to Cincinnati nearly every day for work, crossing the very bridge the president calls functionally obsolete.
My biggest concern would just be that there's nowhere to go if you break down or have an accident, and I've, certainly had near misses with accidents on the bridge myself.
And Little says she supports the president's bill or anything that will make her commute from Lexington to Cincinnati a safer one. From downtown Cincinnati, Andy Cunningham, WKYT 27 News First.
Before his speech, the president met with Governor Beshear and Senator Rand Paul to talk about the Sherman-Minton Bridge in Louisville. That bridge closed a few weeks ago after a crack was found in a support beam.
A woman facing a reckless homicide charge for the death of a young girl has turned herself in. Julie Reese's family says she didn't know she had a warrant for her arrest until seeing the story on 27 News First at noon. Reese is the godmother of 12-year-old Sierra Hubbard, who died in June after being run over by a van in Lexington. Police say Hubbard was walking by the van as Reese drove it. As Hubbard tried to get in, police say she fell into the van's path. The coroner says she died of blunt force trauma.
Well, we had a break today from the rain and dreary weather, but don't expect it to last long. Chief Meteorologist T.G. Shuck joins us now with an early look at your forecast.
Yeah, did being the collective word here, because we've already had a few isolated showers, which was expected given the fact that that frontal system is still around the area. But we will pick up the coverage and begin to cool things down, it looks like, into Friday. Live First Alert Defender still seeing that cluster of showers and storms down across southern Kentucky, but other than that, looking pretty quiet. The isolated cells here in the metro area beginning to weaken out. Pretty good finish to the final day of summer with sunshine around, but some heavy rain still in between Barberville and Williamsburg and back around Monticello. That moisture streaming up from the south. You see a larger area of rain back across parts of western Indiana and southern Illinois, and the clouds more scattered about, but I really think those are going to increase a little later on in the evening. Temperatures, again, for the final day of summer, pretty good. 77 Lexington, Frankfort, 77 in Jackson, 75 down in London. That cooler air not far off, and it may hang a while because of that upper low heading this direction. We'll tell you more about it coming up.
All right, we'll see you then, TG. Thank you. A group of repairmen spent much of the day at a church hit hard by copper thieves. Pat Jewett with heating and air fixed the damage at Berea Christian Church in Lexington. Last weekend, thieves tried to take copper from an air conditioning unit by pulling it off its foundation. That damaged the unit itself and the church building as well. Jewett says copper thieves have kept his workers busy this summer.
We've been covered up. We had 14 businesses in 2 complexes there in Georgetown and McMeekin Plaza that they either took copper off of them or took the whole unit and just tore it apart. So we had to replace everything on those.
Heating and air workers say it typically costs thousands of dollars to repair damage to an AC unit.
Many church leaders, business owners, and homeowners have had to pay that huge repair bill lately. Police say that copper thieves go after AC units thinking they can get a lot of money from what's inside. But is that copper just fool's gold? We wanted to see for ourselves just how much money copper in an AC unit is really worth. Dave Spencer has the results in a 27 News First investigation.
The sound of a functioning air conditioner, it seems to be music to a copper thief's ears. It's such a common occurrence, in fact, we wanted to know, 1, how the copper thief does it, and 2, how much money they're getting for that copper.
But there's 2 screws to hold this piece on.
Tony Chapman is in the AC repair business.
Then they'll take this piece here.
Today
and they'll take it somewhere else and cut the strips off of it.
Taking one apart.
You should have timed this.
To show us how in 5 minutes or less, your air conditioner can go from fully functional to a major drain on your wallet.
To replace the unit, you're talking about $3,000.
He's done a lot of replacing this summer. His work at churches where air conditioners are destroyed for metal has doubled compared to last year.
Major repairs, so you're talking about above $10,000.
While the owner of these ACs are stuck with the bill, this little more than a handful here is all the copper Chapman says the thieves get in return, leaving the owners with a useless mess and a phone call to make.
Then they'll ask us, their number one question is, well, how much money do they get out of that?
We have the same question.
Loaded up in the back of this van is everything a copper thief is after once they see your air conditioner. Now we're going to take it to a scrapyard and see what it's all worth.
With the van loaded with scrap metal, we headed over to a local scrapyard. Once there, the metal was put into a wheelbarrow and weighed. In order to get paid for our scrapped metal, they asked for a photocopy of a valid ID. After that, we took our receipt to a cashier and got the money. For a grand total of $3,000 worth of damage, we got $11.80 in profit. The scrapyard was paying $2.95 a pound that day, and we had 4 pounds of copper.
And police tell me in most cases, the small money that they do get from this air conditioner goes to support a drug habit. And the threat of getting only a misdemeanor is not acting as a deterrent. In Lexington, Dave Spencer, WKYT 27 News First.
Unbelievable, $11. Well, we should note that the scrap yard that we visited in that story did nothing wrong in buying our scrap metal. The company made a copy of a valid ID, which is required by Kentucky law.
10 years after his trial ended in a hung jury, a man now faces new charges for a deadly dorm fire. The Callaway grand jury indicted 35-year-old Jerry Walker on manslaughter, arson, assault, and wanton endangerment charges. Investigators say Walker set a fire at a Murrow State University dorm in 1998. That fire killed 19-year-old student Michael Minger. Police say an in-depth review of the case last year led to the indictment. A motion has been filed to dismiss charges against an Eastern Kentucky school district, the superintendent, and a football coach. The charges stem from an alleged hazing incident at Jenkins Independent last fall. Investigators say Superintendent Debbie Watts and football coach Larry Maggard did not report the incident. The judge said today he wanted to review the case more before ruling if the charges should be dismissed.
A Kentucky attorney connected to a high-profile case has lost his law license. Find out why the state Supreme Court disbarred him.
And later, the developers trying to reopen Kentucky Kingdom say they won't be able to do it next year, what they say is causing that delay.
Now, 27 First Alert weather.
Well, nice change of pace on this Thursday here in central and eastern Kentucky. It's good to see that sunshine back around the area. Unfortunately, it's not going to last long, kind of clouding up in spots this afternoon, and even a few scattered showers and storms, especially across southern Kentucky. Had a little bit of activity early here in the Lexington area, at least within the last few hours. Live First Alert Defender, see that cluster that developed over the northern part of Tennessee, and it is slowly drifting off to the north and northeast. And down around Williamsburg and parts of Whitley County, and now more so south side of Barberville and into southern Knox County. A couple of heavier cells. You see the brighter colors there, and some thunder and lightning with that, maybe even some small hail just to the east of the interstate, and then stretching up into the western part of Clay County, and a few scattered showers southwest of Somerset and around Monticello there in Wayne County. Another area of rain on the backside of that boundary in the cooler air, and a lot of thick cloud cover associated with that, but we'll continue to see at least just scattered clouds, although with those storms down across southern Kentucky, maybe more overcast there. 77 Lexington, same story there in Jackson, also over to Frankfort. 75 London, 73 in Somerset. But look back to the west, underneath the clouds and rain, only in the 60s, and that's what we're looking at for the day tomorrow. 57 to start, but how about it? With that full sun this morning, really spiked our temperatures up in a hurry, and that front lagging back to the west just a bit, so that allowed us to reach all the way to 80 for the afternoon high, 77 and 55, the average high and low. But this front will finally get a kick eastward, a little secondary boundary and wave kind of scooting on through here, so that's going to mean some additional rain possible overnight and into the day tomorrow. It looks like the best organized stuff should come early in the day, but even east of Lexington could hang in with a few scattered showers during the afternoon as well. Maybe a few peaks of sunshine, and that's pretty much going to be the drill through the upcoming weekend. That upper low by this time tomorrow will be off to our northwest, and it will drift eastward in the coming days. Still a possibility of a few isolated showers for tailgating, but a lot of this stuff will begin to diminish each and every evening, so that will bode well for that 7 o'clock kickoff out of Commonwealth. Just cloudy, kind of coolish. 64 at kickoff, falling down just a few degrees, especially if it stays overcast during the course of the game. So that'll be good football weather for you as we welcome fall tomorrow. It's going to feel like it. Mid-60s through the weekend. I think a little better chance for organized rain Sunday, Monday, as that upper low kind of spins through here. We'll see a better chance then, and it'll be out of here by probably Monday night. So Tuesday and beyond, it is looking a whole lot better. So hopefully not a complete washout here. It doesn't appear that way on Saturday. Again, the chance is a little more significant, I think, Sunday, Monday.
Not bad for you tailgaters.
Yeah.
Pretty manageable.
Keep the rain and Keep it out of the way.
And it's not going to be overly cold. I mean, to add insult to injury, if it was chilly, it would be even worse. But I think we'll do okay.
That's coming later.
Yeah, it will.
Let's not talk about it yet.
Okay.
Well, the city needs your help decorating downtown Lexington for Christmas.
Their request ahead on News First at 6. A Lexington attorney who worked on the class action lawsuit over the diet drug Fen-Phen has been permanently disbarred.
The Kentucky Supreme Court revoked David Helmer's law license today, citing, quote, serious ethical violations. Helmer's worked as an associate at William Gallion's law firm. Gallion, along with Shirley Cunningham Jr., are serving federal sentences after being convicted of bilking their clients out of millions from the Fen-Phen settlements. Developers trying to reopen a closed Kentucky amusement park have pushed back their target date by a year. Those developers say so far they have not been able to put together a public-private partnership needed to reopen Kentucky Kingdom. They're now shooting for 2013 instead of next year. Developers are also hoping the state will put up $20 million to help get the park open again.
A traffic alert if you're planning to go to a busy Lexington shopping center tonight. The main entrance of Lexington Green on Nicholasville Road has closed for some work. Mall officials have placed message boards in the area to remind shoppers. The main entrance is expected to reopen at 6 tomorrow morning. The back entrance to Lexington Green across from Fayette Mall is still open tonight. Do you have a large tree that would look good decked out in lights and decorations? Lexington city officials want to hear from you. The city wants 3 evergreen trees to be used around downtown as Christmas trees. They'll be placed at Triangle Park, in front of the KU building, and at 3rd and Midland. The trees will be removed at no cost to you. For more information on how you can do that, log on to our web channel, WKYT.com. It still seems a long way off from the holidays and Christmas, Amber, but you got to think ahead on these things, I guess.
We will blink and it will be here.
Yes.
Well, we certainly hope this wasn't the case, but Brian, the Cats are a huge underdog against the Gators.
Yeah. Close to 3 touchdowns, and it should be that way. The Cats have not beaten those reptiles in a generation, but there is more than just a streak, which is worth mentioning. There's another much more positive streak to talk about. Sports is next. It's been a good news, bad news kind of week for the football Cats. The bad news, the Cats are coming off a loss to Louisville, only to have to face Florida this weekend. The good news, Joker Phillips says his Cats are having a great week of practice. Back to the bad news. Phillips saying defensive end Collins Ukwu could miss Saturday's game with the Gators. Ukwu has a sprained knee and will need an MRI. But Phillips delivering some good news again today. Linebacker and All-American candidate Danny Trevathan was back in practice and will play against the Gators. Trevathan sat out yesterday's workout with an assortment of bumps and bruises. The SEC's leading tackler has a streak of 12 consecutive games with double-digit tackles.
So it dates back to a lot of really good opponents. For a guy that's doing that, I mean, it's very impressive. And, you know, we need him to make more. You know, I hate to say it, but we need him to make more. But he's definitely doing his part as far as making plays and leading also.
It's been a good news, bad news type of sportscast. Let's go back to the bad news. The Gators come to Lexington a 20-point favorite and with one of the league's top-rated defenses. The Cats all say they need to get out of the gate quickly. One area the Cats look comfortable is in their hurry-up offense, which surprises even their coach.
I have no idea, because the one thing we've done poorly in practice is the 2-minute. It has been, you know, and that's I got no explanation for it, because we haven't done very well in the 2-minute drill, and we go in the game and done decent. And I shouldn't say decent, really well. Scored a couple of times.
Friday evening, we will be at Fan Outfitters in Hamburg. A limited number of collectibles for the Florida game will be available beginning at 5 o'clock, and you can get them at both Fan Outfitter locations. Hope to see you there tomorrow. The UK women have released their basketball TV schedule, and the Cats will make 9 national television appearances this season. 4 of those games will appear on the ESPN family of networks, including a matchup at Notre Dame on December 18th and a February matchup at Mississippi State. Fox Sports will televise a pair of games, as will Comcast Sports South. Additional game times and the UK IMG TV schedule will be announced at a later date. If it weren't for bad news, the Bengals probably wouldn't be in the news at all. 2 Bengals are the center of an investigation dealing with marijuana. Police confiscated a package containing 2.5 pounds of marijuana at the home of Bengals receiver Jerome Simpson. Another Bengal, Anthony Collins, was also at the home when a woman accepted the package, which came from California. Police searched the house and discovered 6 more pounds of pot, as well as drug paraphernalia. The players were detained, but not arrested, and they did practice on Wednesday. That's a look at sports. We will be right back.
Well, TG, this is not how we like to see our Friday, Saturday, and Sunday setting up, for sure.
Yeah, the timing could be better. Today was nice because we had that sunshine out there, although we've already seen a few scattered showers here in the Lexington area and down south. But with that upper low moving in, more clouds probably than sunshine and a little cooler, but we'll see some improvement in the next week.
Looks like the Secret Service, except for Amber, arrived here, these dark suits.
Exactly.
See you at 11.
Got your piece in your ear.